Welcome, gentle listener, to another tranquil journey beneath the waves. Tonight, we descend into the quiet mysteries of the deep sea, a world of shadows, gentle currents, and ancient secrets. Here, far below the sunlit surface, life has found extraordinary ways to endure. Let us drift together through the silent blue, exploring the remarkable adaptations and peaceful resilience of the creatures who call the deep ocean home. Allow each word and image to guide you toward rest, curiosity, and calm. Imagine yourself floating on a vast, silent ocean. The sky above is a watercolor wash of pale blue and gentle grey, the horizon lost in mist. As you take a deep breath, you begin to drift downward, leaving the surface world behind. The water cools around you, and the sounds of wind and birds fade away, replaced by the gentle hush of currents and your own steady breathing. Sunlight filters down in shimmering beams, fading from turquoise to indigo as you descend. Schools of fish flicker past, their scales catching the last glimmers of light. Soon, you enter the twilight zone, where the world grows dim and the colors soften. Here, jellyfish drift like living lanterns, their bells pulsing with faint blue light. Marine snow, tiny particles of organic matter, falls endlessly from above, nourishing the life below. As you sink deeper, the darkness grows. The pressure increases, a gentle but persistent embrace. You pass through layers of water, each with its own temperature and character. Occasionally, a shimmering boundary, known as a thermocline, marks the meeting of warm and cold currents, creating ripples of light and shadow. In this realm, life moves more slowly. Lanternfish flash brief signals to one another, their bodies dotted with tiny points of light. The water is filled with drifting particles, tiny flakes of organic matter known as marine snow, falling endlessly from above. Each flake is a tiny world, carrying nutrients from the surface to the depths below. You continue your descent deeper and deeper until the last traces of sunlight vanish. Now you are in the midnight zone, the bathypelagic, where darkness is complete. The pressure here is immense, hundreds of times greater than at the surface, yet you feel no fear. Instead, there is a profound sense of calm, as if you are wrapped in the quietest, softest blanket imaginable. All around you, life persists in ways both strange and beautiful. Some creatures create their own light, glowing softly in the darkness. Others are nearly invisible, their bodies transparent or reflective, blending perfectly with the black water. Movement is slow and deliberate, each motion carefully measured to conserve precious energy. As you drift downward, you pass by a drifting jellyfish, its bell gently undulating, trailing long, delicate tentacles that shimmer with faint blue light. You see a pair of small, silvery fish, their eyes large and luminous, adapted to catch the slightest glimmer in the darkness. Far below, a faint glow marks the presence of a deep-sea anglerfish, its lure pulsing softly as it waits for prey. The water here is cold, just above freezing, and the silence is profound. Yet there is a sense of peace, a feeling that you have entered a world apart, a place where time moves slowly and every creature is a marvel of adaptation and survival. You pause in your descent, floating in the gentle current, and let your senses adjust to this new world. The darkness is not empty, it is filled with life, each creature perfectly suited to its place. The pressure, the cold, the absence of light, all are simply facts of life here, challenges met with quiet ingenuity. As you continue to drift downward, you pass through layers of water, each with its own character. Some are rich with nutrients, supporting blooms of tiny plankton. Others are barren, swept clean by powerful currents. Occasionally, you pass through a thin, shimmering layer, a boundary between waters of different temperatures or salinities, known as a thermocline or halocline. Here, the water seems to ripple and shimmer, as if you are passing through a dream. Finally, you reach the ocean floor, a vast rolling plain of soft mud and scattered rocks. The bottom is dotted with strange shapes. Sea cucumbers inching along, brittle stars waving their arms, the occasional crab scuttling in search of food. In the distance, a hydrothermal vent spews warm, mineral-rich water into the cold darkness, surrounded by clusters of tube worms and ghostly white shrimp. You have arrived in the abyssal zone, the true deep sea. Here, life is slow, deliberate, and endlessly patient. The creatures you meet are survivors, each with its own story of adaptation and endurance. The world is quiet, peaceful, and profoundly beautiful. Let yourself rest here, in the gentle darkness, and prepare to learn the secrets of survival in the deep. As you settle into the midnight zone, the world around you is transformed. Here, the darkness is complete, and the pressure is immense, hundreds of times greater than what you would feel at the surface. Yet, this world is not empty. It is alive with subtle movement, gentle light, and the quiet persistence of life that has adapted in extraordinary ways. The water is cold, just above freezing, and the silence is deep. The only sounds are the distant pulse of underwater currents and the soft, almost imperceptible movements of creatures that have made this place their home. Every now and then, a faint glow appears in the distance, a living lantern in the darkness. This is the realm of bioluminescence, where light is created not by the sun, but by life itself. Lanternfish, among the most numerous of all vertebrates on Earth, flash tiny points of light along their bodies, signaling to one another in secret codes. Bioluminescent jellyfish drift by, their tentacles trailing behind them like luminous ribbons, pulsing with blue and green. Anglerfish hover in the stillness, their glowing lures swaying gently, waiting for an unsuspecting meal to wander close. Each light is a quiet miracle, a gentle adaptation to a world where darkness is the rule. Many of the animals here are nearly invisible, transparent, reflective, or shadowy, blending perfectly with the black water. Some have enormous eyes, adapted to catch the faintest glimmer, while others are blind, sensing the world through vibrations and chemical cues. The barrel-eye fish, for example, has a transparent head and upward-facing eyes, allowing it to spot the silhouettes of prey above. The gulper eel can open its mouth wide enough to swallow creatures larger than itself, a slow-motion hunter in a world where meals are rare. The pressure in this zone is crushing, but the animals here have bodies that are soft and flexible, with bones reduced or absent. The snailfish, for instance, has gelatinous flesh that withstands the force of the deep. Some creatures, like the amphipod, have exoskeletons reinforced with aluminum, a rare adaptation to the chemistry of the deep sea. Life here moves at a gentle pace. Sea cucumbers inch along the seafloor, feeding on the rain of organic particles that drift down from above. Brittle stars wave their arms in slow, hypnotic patterns, capturing whatever food the currents bring. Ghostly white shrimp graze on bacterial mats near hydrothermal vents, living off the energy of the Earth itself rather than the distant sun. Occasionally, you may witness the slow, graceful dance of a giant squid, its long arms trailing behind it like silk ribbons. Or you might see a Dumbo octopus, flapping its ear-like fins as it glides effortlessly through the water. Each creature is a testament to patience and endurance, surviving in a world of scarcity and silence. Hydrothermal vents dot the seafloor, spewing mineral-rich water into the cold darkness. Around these vents, life flourishes in unexpected abundance. Tube worms, clams, and shrimp gather in quiet communities, their lives sustained by chemosynthetic bacteria that convert the vent's chemicals into nourishment. These oases are islands of warmth and life in an otherwise cold and lonely expanse. The deep sea is a world of gentle rhythms. Tides and currents move with patient regularity, carrying nutrients and life from place to place. The abyssal plain stretches for thousands of miles, a tranquil expanse where time seems to slow. Here, some creatures live for decades or even centuries, their lives unfolding at a pace as gentle as the ocean itself. As you drift through this world, you are struck by its peace and resilience. There is no rush, no hurry, only the slow, steady work of survival, growth, and renewal. Every adaptation is a quiet marvel, a solution to the challenges of darkness, pressure, and scarcity. You pause to watch a colony of glass sponges, their delicate skeletons forming intricate lattices on the seafloor. Nearby, a sea cucumber grazes patiently, its body rippling with each slow movement. In the distance, a rat-tail fish glides through the gloom, its long tail trailing behind like a shadow. The deep sea is a world apart, a place of quiet endurance and subtle beauty. Here, life persists against the odds, finding ways to thrive in the most unlikely of places. As you float in the gentle darkness, you are reminded that even in the deepest night there is light, and even in the greatest pressure there is peace. As you drift further through the midnight zone, you begin to notice the extraordinary diversity of life that has found ways to thrive in this silent, pressurized world. Every creature you encounter is a quiet marvel of adaptation, shaped by millions of years of gentle, persistent evolution. Here, in the deep sea, survival is an art of subtlety, patience, and ingenuity. Some fish have developed wide, extendable mouths and elastic stomachs, allowing them to swallow prey larger than themselves, a necessity in a world where meals are rare and unpredictable. The gulper eel, for example, can unhinge its jaws and expand its body, patiently waiting for the right moment to capture passing food. This slow, deliberate hunting style conserves precious energy, a vital strategy in the nutrient-scarce deep. Transparency and camouflage are common. Many deep-sea creatures are nearly invisible, their bodies clear or mirrored to blend seamlessly with the darkness. Glass squid and certain species of shrimp appear almost ghostly, their organs faintly visible within delicate, jelly-like bodies. Others, like the hatchetfish, have silvery sides that reflect the faintest light, making them vanish against the black backdrop. Bioluminescence is everywhere. Some animals use it to lure prey, like the anglerfish with its glowing lure, gently waving in the current to entice curious fish. Others use light as a defense, flashing suddenly to startle predators or create confusion. The flashlight fish glows beneath its eyes, and the comb jelly ripples with shifting rainbows along its body, a soft, mesmerizing display in the endless night. Movement in the deep sea is slow and measured. Some creatures drift with the currents, conserving energy by letting the ocean carry them. Others remain nearly motionless, waiting for food to come to them. The tripod fish, for example, rests on elongated fins, barely moving as it senses vibrations in the water, alert for the approach of a meal. Senses are finely tuned. In the absence of light, many animals rely on touch, taste, and vibration. Long, sensitive feelers or antennae help shrimp and amphipods detect the faintest movements. Some fish have lateral lines, delicate sensory organs that run along their bodies, allowing them to sense changes in water pressure and movement, painting a silent picture of their surroundings. In this world, cooperation is as important as competition. Around hydrothermal vents, tube worms and bacteria form symbiotic relationships, exchanging nutrients in a slow, mutual dance. Shrimp clean and protect their hosts, while clams and mussels cluster together, sharing the warmth and minerals from the vents. Adaptations extend to reproduction as well. Some deep-sea fish are hermaphrodites, able to change sex as needed to ensure survival. Others, like certain anglerfish, have evolved a unique form of mating. The tiny male fuses with the much larger female, sharing nutrients in a gentle, lifelong bond. Every creature here is a testament to resilience. The pressure, the cold, the darkness. Each challenge has inspired quiet innovation. The snailfish's gelatinous body, the amphipod's sturdy exoskeleton, the octopus's ability to squeeze into the smallest crevice, all are solutions to the puzzle of deep-sea life. As you watch a ghostly squid pulse by, its arms trailing like silk, you realize that survival here is not about speed or strength, but about patience, subtlety, and harmony with the environment. In the deep, life moves at its own pace, unhurried and enduring. Settle now into the gentle, unhurried rhythm of the deep sea. A world where time stretches and life moves to the slow pulse of ancient currents. Here, beneath the waves, everything follows cycles as old as the ocean itself. Even in the profound darkness, there is movement and migration, a quiet choreography that connects the surface to the abyss. Each day, as night falls above, countless tiny creatures, lanternfish, krill, and plankton, rise from the depths in the largest migration on Earth. This vertical journey, known as vertical migration, is a silent ballet performed in darkness. By night, these animals ascend to feed on the abundant plankton near the surface. As dawn approaches, they sink back into the safety of the deep, escaping the gaze of predators. This rhythm, repeated every 24 hours, is a lifeline that brings nutrients and energy from the sunlit world to the midnight zone. The deep sea is shaped by slow, powerful forces. Underwater mountains rise from the abyssal plain, their peaks hidden in darkness. Vast trenches, some deeper than Mount Everest is tall, cut through the seafloor, forming silent valleys where few have ever ventured. Volcanic vents, known as hydrothermal vents, erupt with mineral-rich water, creating oases of warmth and life in the cold expanse. Around these vents, entire communities gather. Tube worms, clams, and shrimp thrive in the mineral plumes, their lives tied to the slow, patient chemistry of the earth itself. Currents move with ancient regularity, carrying cold, oxygen-rich water from polar regions to the deep tropics. These currents are the arteries of the ocean, sustaining life far from the sun. The abyssal plain stretches for thousands of miles, a tranquil expanse of soft mud and scattered stones, where creatures like the sea cucumber and the rat-tail fish live out their slow, enduring lives. Some animals, like the grenadier fish, spend decades in these depths, growing slowly, their lives measured not in days or years, but in cycles of the tides and the turning of the earth. Others, like the glass sponge, can live for thousands of years, filtering water in silence, their delicate skeletons forming underwater forests on the seafloor. Even the geology of the deep sea moves at its own pace. Sediments settle in thin layers, recording the passing of millennia. Occasionally, a whale falls to the abyss, its body becoming an island of nourishment for generations of scavengers, hagfish, amphipods, and bone-eating worms, each playing a role in the slow recycling of life. The rhythm of the deep is gentle, patient, and eternal. There is no rush here, only the slow unfolding of cycles and the quiet persistence of life. Every movement, every migration, every pulse of current is a reminder that even in darkness, the ocean is alive with connection and change. Let your mind drift now to the gentle giants and the smallest wanderers of the deep sea. A world where size and strength are redefined by the slow, patient pace of life in the abyss. Here, some of the ocean's most mysterious and peaceful inhabitants move with a grace that belies their size, while countless tiny creatures quietly shape the ecosystem with every drift and pulse. In the darkness, the giant squid glides silently, its long arms trailing behind like ribbons of silk. Rarely seen by human eyes, these enigmatic beings are legends of the deep. Their bodies, soft and supple, are built for the pressures of the abyss, and their enormous eyes, among the largest in the animal kingdom, gather every possible glimmer of light. The giant squid's movements are slow and deliberate, conserving energy as it navigates the vast, empty plains of the ocean floor. Equally mesmerizing are the great jellyfish that pulse through the water, their bells glowing with soft, ethereal light. The lion's mane, jellyfish, with tentacles that can stretch for tens of meters, drifts with the currents, a living tapestry of color and motion. Each pulse is a gentle contraction, a slow dance that propels the jellyfish through the endless blue. In this world, there is no rush, only the patient, rhythmic movement of life. Yet, most of the deep sea's life is small. Tiny shrimp, delicate worms, and plankton that drift on the currents. These minute wanderers are the foundation of the ecosystem, feeding on marine snow, and in turn, nourishing larger creatures. Amphipods scavenge patiently, cleaning the seafloor of organic debris. Glass sponges filter water in silence, their intricate skeletons forming underwater gardens that provide shelter for countless species. Some animals, like the glass sponge, can live for thousands of years, their lives unfolding with the slow certainty of geological time. Others, like the amphipod, may live only a year, but in that time, they play a vital role in the recycling of nutrients and the balance of life. The deep sea is also home to the mysterious oarfish, a slender, ribbon-like giant that can grow longer than a bus. Rarely observed alive, the oarfish moves with a gentle undulation, its silver body reflecting any stray light. Legends of sea serpents may have begun with glimpses of these gentle creatures, whose presence is both haunting and beautiful. Every creature, large or small, is perfectly adapted to its place in the slow dance of life. There is beauty in every movement, every shape, every quiet adaptation. The glass squid's transparency, the amphipod's sturdy exoskeleton, the jellyfish's bioluminescent glow, all are testaments to the creativity of life in the deep. In this peaceful world, competition is gentle and survival is a matter of patience and harmony. The food web is a delicate balance, with each species playing its part in the recycling of energy and nutrients. When a whale falls to the abyss, its body becomes an island of nourishment, sustaining generations of scavengers in a slow, communal feast. As you watch these gentle giants and tiny wanderers, you are reminded that the deep sea is a place of quiet cooperation and enduring beauty. Here, life unfolds at its own pace, unhurried and eternal. Now, let us drift to the deepest places of all, the trenches and abyssal plains where light from the sun has never touched. Here, the ocean's eternal night is complete, and yet, in this darkness, life continues its gentle, persistent work. The silence is profound, broken only by the faintest vibrations of distant currents and the slow, patient movements of creatures perfectly adapted to the void. In these depths, the water is near freezing, and the pressure is immense, yet the inhabitants are undisturbed. Some, like the snailfish, have bodies so soft and gelatinous that they seem to melt into the water itself. Others, like the amphipod, have tiny armoured exoskeletons, their forms sculpted by the chemistry of the deep. Bioluminescence becomes the language of life. Here, flashes of blue and green light mark the presence of a passing jellyfish or a hunting squid. Some animals use their glow to attract mates, others to confuse predators, and some simply to illuminate their way through the endless black. The display is never frantic. Each glow is a slow, deliberate signal, a whisper in the darkness. Hydrothermal vents and cold seeps create rare oases. Around these, life flourishes in unexpected abundance. Tube worms with crimson plumes, clams with thick shells, and shrimp with no eyes at all. These communities depend not on sunlight, but on the slow, steady chemistry of the earth itself. Bacteria convert minerals into energy, forming the base of a food web that is as ancient as the ocean. Even here, the rhythm of the deep persists. Currents carry nutrients from distant lands, and the slow rain of marine snow feeds the patient scavengers below. Occasionally, the body of a whale settles on the plain, becoming an island of nourishment for decades. Hagfish, worms, and amphipods arriving in a quiet procession to share in the bounty. As you float in this silent world, you may sense the slow passing of time. Some creatures live for centuries, their lives measured not in days or years, but in the cycles of the earth and the turning of the tides. The glass sponge, anchored to the sea floor, may witness the rise and fall of continents, its delicate lattice unchanged by the ages. Yet, even in the deepest night, there is always the promise of light. The ocean is never truly still. Above, the surface world continues its dance of day and night, wind and wave. And sometimes a gentle current will carry you upward, toward warmth and brightness, toward the memory of sunlight and the songs of distant seabirds. As you slowly ascend, the water grows lighter, shifting from indigo to blue, then to pale turquoise. The pressure eases and the cold softens. The sounds of the surface, waves, wind, and life, begin to return. The deep sea remains below, a world of calm and quiet wonder, always waiting to be explored again. Let yourself rest in the knowledge that the ocean endures, that life persists, and that peace can be found even in the darkest depths. The gentle strength and quiet endurance of the deep sea are yours to carry with you, into sleep, into dreams, and into the waking world. Thank you for joining this meditative journey into the deep. May the ocean's quiet wisdom bring you rest and gentle dreams wherever you are.